All right, guys, we are live
From Austin, it's
Hoonuit
HoonuitLIVE!
Live, getting started on the last day of TCEA. And this is super exciting because I have like all these awesome friends just stopping in to talk about these incredible topics, and I get to yell in their ears.
Yes.
But I'm so excited to introduce you to, first off, Claudio Zavala, who is going to be joining us as a moderator for today's event, 2 hours. It's going to be awesome. He has people coming in going crazy. And I'm hearing my voice in the background, so I'm going to mute myself. But Claudia, do you want to introduce the other lady?
Yeah, so joining us from, where's she at? Christine.
Ohio.
Oh,
I'm in cold Ohio.
cold Ohio. Well, she's joining us via web, and also sitting here next to me is Lisa from Waco ISD. So we're here at the Hoonuit booth in Austin on the last day that we're sitting here in the vendor hall.
Yes.
And it's been many, many great sessions and workshops. And so we are here to talk about personalized learning. And let me pull up my notes. And student achievement. So it's been a long day for me, but I'm excited to be here. Long week. But excited to be here. So I'm gonna ask both of you to talk about personalized learning and student achievement. So maybe let's start with what for those out there who don't know what it is, maybe just like a layman's definition of what it is. For those other educators out there, maybe want to get a little more info about it. So who would like to maybe give like a definition of what it is? Are we doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I can go ahead. Personalized learning, and just in terms is giving students a voice and choice to be able to decide what they want to do and what they want to learn. I look at it kind of as like a genius hour, letting those kids explore passions that they're interested in, and just giving them that freedom so that way they feel engaged and empowered. Then
They're going to scoot closer so they can hear you a little
Perfect.
bit better.
Okay.
That's good. I think I hear better now.
Awesome. We're gonna turn it a little bit.
Okay.
And yeah, personalized learning, it's voice and choice, and it's tailoring the experience for each student. And I know it sometimes is a little intimidating, but it's really knowing your students, knowing what they're interested in, what drives and motivates them, and tailoring your learning experiences around those interests. So when you do that, of course, you're going to have their best at their buy-in, and it's going to, of course, result in achievement.
That's great. So what are some things that you do? I'll start with Lisa here.
Okay.
For that to give students personalized learning.
As much as possible, again, we bring in voice and choice. We do a lot of menu boards, choice boards. So it looks like a tic-tac-toe board, and they have to choose. Sometimes we'll make one of the squares a required square, so the rest of the time they have their choice in their learning. A lot of our teachers also tailor their content in a way that the students can choose a variety of access to the content. So maybe I want to watch a video about the concept. Maybe I want to read an article about the concept. But again, they're giving them choice in access to the content, and again, choice in how they show their evidence of learning.
Okay, now before I go to Christina, you said something like you have one that you did. They have a choice, but there's one that you do want them to.
Absolutely.
And that's something. Is that because you're looking? Why is that?
A required square is always. Sometimes that's our writing piece. I was an English teacher forever, and sometimes our students are hesitant or reluctant to write. And so as an English teacher, I always needed them to write because I taught, and our test was a writing test. So
okay.
Yeah.
And Christine, how about yourself? What are some things that you do to allow the students that personalized learning?
Yep, definitely some of the things that you said as well. So giving them that choice board. We have teachers in our district that use that quite a bit. Some of them have been incorporating a type of gamification with their students. So not only are they letting them pick those things, they can still pick lessons and topics that they want to do, but they kind of earn points along the way, which gets them more motivated as well. But just some of those really cool things that they do with it.
So you both said menu board, choice board. So can you give me an example? What do you mean by that? So for example, myself, I've been out of the classroom for some time now, and so when I see menu boards, I'm thinking like when I go to a restaurant, I see a menu.
And,
Yep.
and it's
Okay.
very much like that. There is a wiki that I love to use. The wiki is called Dare to Differentiate. If you just Google that, dare to differentiate.wikispaces.com. On that website, he has so many choice boards, menu boards, tic-tac-toe boards, and they're all customizable. So it gets you started. And then again, you can add your content or scaffold it for your students.
And do you do the same, Christine? Do you create your own? Do you use others that are already available?
Both, a combination. Definitely use things that are already out there and created, and then just modify them for what you're using with the kids. Letting them pick when we do like final assessment of projects and letting them see like project-based learning. What kind of tool do you want to do? Do you want to create a video? Do you want to write a paper? Do you want to create a comic? So it lets those kids, whatever their interests are, it lets them show what they've learned in the way that they want to.
So I work with educators, and there's always a struggle. Like they want to give their students choice, but there's always that, they have someone above or someone, they have some in leadership, we have to have this over here. For someone that's maybe wants to get into it, what would you suggest, like, for them to start doing it? Like how, like first steps maybe?
Yeah, I definitely choose, again, start small, choose one overarching concept or key understanding from your unit. Just start with one. So maybe if you're using, your district scope and sequence or pacing guides,
Okay.
start there, pick one enduring idea and say, okay, how can I give my students some, like I said, leverage some options for them for that one thing. And
Okay.
so, like I said, it could look different ways. Sometimes that's a misconception, is personalized learning is, 30 different lesson plans and 40 different, whatevers. But just start with one and say, okay, with this one, maybe instead of them doing a traditional presentation, maybe they're going to do, a Voki or a book creator, what have you. But just start with one concept and go there.
Awesome. Christine, would you like to add anything to that?
Definitely, I would say definitely start small and kind of always keep in mind what is the purpose of it. Because I know we have a lot of teachers that they want to use tech and they want to do this, but they have to kind of think about what is the content that you're really trying to teach and what is the purpose of that lesson. So there's lots of ways that you can offer kids an option to show what they've learned. It's just making sure that they don't make it so broad that it's overwhelming for the kids too.
So I'm a teacher in the classroom now. Obviously, I got Texas. We have our TEATs, our state standards, and so if there's one that I need to, focus on. So it's an overarching idea, but I like, so come up with start small. Maybe have one that I need them to do, but then I give them some other choices, and then within those choices, what are some little, like, maybe, like, do you have them create graphic? I mean, like, what are the things that they're creating?
You could differentiate it based on either the cognitive expectations, so like your levels of blooms. Like maybe I have some I wanted them to do more of an analysis, and some of them I want them to do maybe a lower level of a create or a remember. So you could always differentiate, again, the cognitive expectations. You could also differentiate the products. So again, we have our TEAC. How are they going to give that evidence of learning? Well, maybe this student is going to create an illustration, whereas this student is going to write a small paragraph. So again, you can differentiate, again, the cognitive expectations, the products, and sometimes you can even differentiate the content to an extent. But again, you always want to make sure you're covering those TEACs.
So do you want to add anything there, Christine?
Totally agree with all that. Got to make sure that the students, you're kind of meeting their individual needs. And I always thought of the same thing as what you just said too. Are they a kinesthetic learner? Do they want to create something? Can they listen better auditorily? So how are they going to show what they've learned that way? So similar things, letting them create different projects or products to show what they've learned, or just letting them, write about something, whatever is going to be best for that student and what they're interested in.
So, like, if I were in the class and, like, I had the choice to do, I like the creativity stuff. I like video. I like photography. So a student that has that passion, they're still going to give you, they're still going to address whatever that you're looking for, but it's going to be their product. It's going to be their creativity behind it. And another student may be like an actress, and they're going to maybe write a song about it. So those type of things.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, again, I'm an English teacher, so some of our process standards are making inferences. How do you make an inference? There are so many ways that a student can show you that they made an inference, whether they're posting it on a Padlet or maybe they're making a short video. Again, they're still doing those content expectations.
Right. Let's see. Trying to think of anything you just maybe. I don't have a question, but something you just maybe we haven't brought up about student achievement. Okay, here's it. It's coming to my mind right here. This is all on the fly for me. So assessing it. That's kind of so. You create this the wall or choice wall. So how do you go about assessing all the different, so a student over here created a video product, a written product, illustrated product. So how do you go and assess it all? So that's.
Obviously you would need a rubric that met those demands. So you might have a rubric that you tweak just a little bit for a video versus a paragraph.
Okay.
Again, I'm going to, as a teacher in Texas, I'm going to look at how that expectation is seen on the STAR, the end of course, and I'm going to make sure that whatever we're doing is rigorous and at that level.
Okay.
So I'm going to always make sure those things are aligned. So on the STAR, the end of course, if they're grading it a 1, 2, 3, or a 4, my rubric is going to look very similar.
Okay.
And it's going to use the same language. So I'm going to try to make sure those are aligned. But again, you will have to make some minor adjustments on your rubric because you're obviously dealing with different products.
Okay.
And I agree with that too. I was going to say rubrics. We are using rubrics right now with projects that kids are creating. And it is. You still have your overarching theme and your content that you're teaching. So you still have those, what are the kids, meeting? Are they able to explain? And you can tell that, So we just want to make sure that we can see what we're doing.
So Christine, I'll ask you the question. In regards to the rubrics, so you have the one key or standard you're going to address, and so with the student maybe create the video, they have your rubric for it. So the next time they do another project or the next project that they're working on, since they've already used that rubric once, do you see that the students become a little more familiar? Even though when you tweak it, do they get, how can I say, is the process easier for them as they go? Do you find that do they struggle more? Does it get, do they pick it up? So.
Right. I think that the kids definitely, it's easier for them then, because we've had some kids that they just did a thing link project and they had a rubric. So they had to be able to tell, like, these are all the things I've included in it. Now they're working on creating an augmented reality project, same type of rubric. So they're familiar with seeing what are my expectations? Am I creating? What information am I including in this? So a lot of those things are the same. And like she had said, it just has to be tweaked a little bit. But for the kids, that repetition is nice for them to know kind of what is expected of them.
So I just had a question, but did you want to say something to that as far as the flow of it as you go through the year? Does it get easier?
I would say so. And again, the more you're exposing them to the actual rubric that is possibly used at, for the assessment purposes, then the students actually start owning some of that language and they'll start using the language of that rubric. Oh, that was not very good, choice of voice, or, you'll hear them start really adopting it, and they'll start, like I said, embracing it more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you were saying something, the question that came to mind is, so you're doing personalized learning in your classroom or with your teachers, and you're Christine as well. Do you work with a cohort of teachers that are doing the same? Or are you, like, for example, are your students, are you self-contained? Do they stay with you the whole day, or do you have a different group of students coming in?
In my position, I'm a tech integration specialist, so I work with teachers district-wide in our school. But for example, the project that I was just talking about, the kids are doing, it was one whole grade level team. So we all work together to plan, like, the rubric and what are the kids going to be doing with it. So most of the times we have a pretty good cohort of teachers that work together, but it just depends on the teacher and what they're willing to do with their kids and try out with them as well.
And so putting that cohort together, I'm making the presumption that it's going to make it work, obviously, because if everybody's on board with it, I think it does whenever anything you're doing, if you're all on board with it, I think you support each other. I mean, it's with behavior management, with everything. So awesome. Well, I am just, it's going great, but I think I got to the point where I think we've had some great discussion. I think we're ready. We're getting, yeah.
Unless Lisa has something dire she has to say.
I'm good. I just know that if a student can talk about it later and they know, oh, I did this and I remember making this, they've mastered that learning. And if they can tell a friend, if they can talk about it later, months later, they've got it. And so the personalized learning is the way to ensure that happens.
Okay, so here's the question: how do we get more? Okay, so we'll go big or small. More schools to get on board with personalized learning, more maybe districts or just teachers. How can we spread the word, I guess is the word.
And I think it's, again, really tying it to achievement and the results that you're going to get. And it's going to take a little bit of time up front, but you're going to get it back later, and you're going to have the results of engaged learners and your students doing better.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so do you see like behavior problems maybe being easier to
absolutely, because your engagement is increased.
Okay,
so your
that's
kids
it.
that's going to cut down on some of that classroom management issues.
Right. Yeah.
And I think when you have kids that go home and are saying, this was the best thing that I did today, and then the parents hear that, the community gets involved in it, and they want to definitely support what you're doing in your school district. So it's always great when I hear kids say, can we do that again tomorrow? And of course you're like, okay, I have to plan this, big
So, and they don't want to go home.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. And
you want to go to the
that's
next class.
The next class.
Yeah.
You want to stay here.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Christine, thanks so much for joining us from, you said Iowa, right?
No,
Ohio. Sorry.
Yeah. It's snowing here and cold, so.
Oh, no. Well, it was cold here the last few days, but the sun came out today.
Yeah.
But the song says the sun will come out tomorrow.
That's right.
I don't sing it as well as Judy Garland.
Lisa doesn't.
No, we don't need anybody to
I don't know.
sing.
Was it Judy Garland who sang it? I'm probably picking the wrong person.
No, you're right.
Was it her? The sun will come out.
No,
tomorrow?
that's Annie.
Annie. See, I completely messed it up. But you know what? That's all right. And I want to thank Lisa as well for joining here.
Thank you.
And for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day.
Do you want to mention that we're both ambassadors?
Yeah. So, are we all ambassadors?
Oh, we are.
Are we all
ambassadors?
Are we all?
We're ambassadors. We are ambassadors in the ambassador program.
So with a Hoonuit ambassador, so that you're not.
Yes.
You need
to
go to Hoonuit.
All right, guys, we are going to be back here in a few more minutes with Mr. Brad Wade. I'm so excited, and we'll be back here in a few. So we'll see you guys. Thank you, Christine.
Okay, thanks. Have a great time. Bye.
All right.
I'm gonna live stream it.
Oh, hey, everybody. How are you? This is Claudio here at the Hoonuit booth in Austin, TCEA 2018. I'm going to make sure I say the right year.
Yep.
And with me is Brad, and we're going to be talking emerging technology.
Yep.
And so first, tell us emerging technology. So the folks out there that may be watching may not know what is emerging technology.
So emerging technology encompasses quite a few things, but some of the words and language that you might hear would be things like augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. And inside that, you might hear things like artificial intelligence, AI, IoT, which is the Internet of Things, and ML, which is machine learning, like your phone knowing that when you get in the car, if you get in the car a certain time of the day, it knows you're going to work or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Machine learning. Yep.
It's like, it knows that I'm going to the gym now.
I know, right?
Like,
it's fascinating.
You're going to the gym. It's going to take you 15 minutes to get there. What?
Yep.
You already know where I'm going?
I know. It's
scary.
insane. I wasn't even sure where I was going, but
I go, I'm actually not going to the gym at that moment.
Right.
And then
Right.
also we're talking global connections as well.
Correct.
So.
Yeah. Global connections. And yeah, so I love that area.
Well, we met this week here at TCEA in Austin. So for those folks, and I myself know to get to know a little bit more about you. So how did you get started with emerging technology? So what brought you to where you're at now?
Okay, so I was a classroom teacher teaching third grade in Michigan, in the Detroit metro area. And about 6 years ago, I discovered augmented reality, not in education, and found it and said, wow, this is pretty engaging. I want to use it with my kids. So I took a chance and started using it with my 8-year-olds. I was teaching third grade, and I saw the engagement like I've never seen anything before. So I said, wow, this is something powerful. So I'm going to use it and try to leverage that engagement factor for learning outcomes and teachable moments.
So what was the first thing that you used?
The very first thing I used, well, what I saw was Erasmus, which is still around.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing I saw. The first thing I used was a NASA augmented reality app.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 3: NASA augmented reality app, NASA spacecraft 3D. It was an old anatomy app from DACRI called Anatomy 4D,
Mm-hmm.
which was made for medical students.
Okay.
And then an architecture one that I had found. So I didn't teach space, I didn't teach architecture, I didn't teach biology or anatomy, yet I brought them into my class with 8-year-olds and found ways to leverage that for learning.
And I think that's for the teachers out there who think, well, I don't, like, for example, I don't know robotics, I don't know this, I don't know that. But you don't have to.
Right. Exactly right.
So would you say that you're learning it along with the students?
Yes, exactly. And you know what? It's okay. There's more of a comfort level now to understand that. Like, we used to be so caught up, well, I need to be an expert, or I really need to know it before I show my students. But you know what? The kids are going to pick it up pretty good. So there's a comfort level of learning it with them. And sometimes I say, ask your students to help you. Say, hey, I just saw this really cool app. Can you help me out with it? Can you look it over, kind of give me some feedback? What do you think? Because I'm looking at different ways to use it in the classroom. Let's do it together. Can you help me with that? No matter what age you teach.
Great, that's awesome. So, what are your favorite emerging tech apps or technologies to share? And you say these are the ones that let's start off with this one, and then maybe do we need to start with this, go to level up to this one, and then
Right.
level up.
Right, level up,
games,
exactly, right, exactly. So I would say one of the good places to start is there's a company called AR Flashcards, and I'll bring them up because they have quite a few different applications now and go for different age groups. Everything from just doing the letters of the alphabet, which are augmented reality. It's a real easy one to get comfortable in. Then you get all the way up to math. And then PBS Kids has some stuff, but then there's some good catalogs, good experiences, different websites that have a bunch of different experiences right on there. So there's 2 different things. There's applications and there's creation tools. The applications are ones that you can just fire up, download the app on your phone or tablet or device, have an experience and start using.
Okay.
Then there's a creation platform where you go in, you start building content, and there's so much more of that available than used to be. It used to be just Erasmus and DACRI, and there's a whole slew, metaverse. There's all kinds of just.
So you're seeing a
flip
bunch of
our
them that I've not heard about.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome. So you said out there that you can use consume or to look at. So would that be like Google Expedition? Would that be more like? Is that something that's already made for you to be able to?
So yeah, it's sort of like, so you what?
Okay, I'm missing something here.
No.
Google Expeditions is okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
yes,
no.
that's just,
No.
I'm just going with what
Yeah,
for me.
it is VR.
Yes. Yep. It is.
And now, and then, like, for example, I like going when I'm out bike riding. I use the street view because I like taking
Right.
where I'm going bike riding, and I like, hey, check where I'm at. Look at this 3D view of where I'm
Right.
at, and then
Right.
I ride a little more, and I take another one, I
Right.
ride a little more.
Yeah.
So creating it in that sense. So,
Correct. It's sort of a similar idea. So on the creation platform, you can create your own experiences. So even just a simple example of augmenting just a piece of paper, a lesson, assignment, a picture, and then putting a layer of content over
Awesome.
top of it.
Okay.
So like I started using it with my parents coming into my classroom and augmenting student work. One of the very first things I did was for a living museum that we had in my classroom. So parents came in and they were going to walk through all these exhibits,
Cool.
and students had a Native American 8.5 by 14 piece of paper. It was a culmination experience. They drew a picture because they had to write about a day in the life of being a Native American child. So what I did is they drew a picture and then they wrote their piece about it. So what we did is we filmed every student talking about their role, what it was like being a Native American, whether you're boy or girl, how you worked with mom, how you worked with dad, and everything. So now parents, usually parents come in, they see a piece of work, they see it, they
Yeah.
read it. That's as far as the experience goes.
Okay.
Now they were scanning it with the phone and getting deeper understanding. And now other parents could do it. And we started doing artwork and sheet music. So now the art teacher started augmenting every piece of art that the students did around the school. So I could just simply open the app and scan it and see that, oh, this is a 7th grader doing oil and pastel. She's inspired by, Malay and blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
It's incredible. And one of the best examples I saw was my music teacher was doing, students had to write their own sheet music.
Okay.
Now, I think it looks beautiful because they were up around the hall, and like one was a violin piece. That's great. I don't know what that sounds like. I can look at it. I don't know if it's an upbeat piece, exciting, low or whatever. So they can augment it and like record that student playing that music, and all of a sudden you scan it, and all of a sudden you see the sheet music, and now you have the student playing the piece.
Wow.
It's incredible.
So-
So those are just very basic examples.
So you go up there, you take your phone, and you see a piece of sheet music up there,
Mhm.
and you scan, and there's the video of the student playing
Correct.
that piece that they
Correct.
wrote themselves.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. Yeah, and that's like just the beginning. You can now layer that over layer with interactive buttons. Like you can have quizzes, you can like augment a map, and you can like have different touch points, and you get feedback like student questions. You can do assessments. I mean, you're only limited by your imagination, to tell you the truth.
Wow. So
Yeah.
So if I'm a teacher and I want to start. I want to do this.
Mhm.
What would you say? Where do I go first?
So the first thing I would do is I would check in on social media. If you're on any social media, or you can just go online and type in a search. If you're looking for, let's say, what I would do is if you wanted like an augmented reality experience, just looking for tools, let's say, okay, you're looking for augmented reality education, social studies, 3rd grade, or whatever it might be, and see what returns you get.
Mhm.
But the best thing to do is go out on social media, ask for suggestions. Like go on Twitter, say, hey, I'm a 3rd grade teacher. I'm looking for an AR experience in this area.
Okay.
And then tag people, and it'll be great. The second thing is if you want to create content, that's a different level, but it's pretty easy. So there's something called creation platforms. There's a lot of them out there. There's Erasmus and different ones. What I would suggest is there are good articles that talk about all the ones available and their pros and cons, because they're all subtly a little
Yeah,
different.
differences, yeah.
So if you go in, simply type in a search, say AR creation platforms, you'll get a list. I mean, I've contributed to some. There's some great pieces out there, and you'll see, okay, here are the top 5 that are recommended. Go in, just pick one. They're all going to work, but you may find one is subtly a little more good, a little better for you.
Okay.
Just fits your style
your
or what
style.
you want to do. If I'm a AP history teacher, one may fit me better if I'm a 2nd grade elementary teacher.
Okay.
But they're all about the same. They all focus on the same idea. You drop pieces, you augment. You can have interactive buttons. It's incredible.
So you just pick whatever fits your needs.
Correct.
Awesome.
Correct.
And so going and talking about the global connections piece of it. So how do you do that? What do you do? How do you get that global connections going?
Yeah, so when I talk about engaging the globally connected student, the thing is first the understanding of where our students are today, and it's very different. Yes, I'm old enough to say when I was a kid it was different. I get it, I know. But the thing is now is when kids leave the classroom and they go home, their world is very different, and we need to understand that. We need to start not only understand that, but bridging the gap to make it not so different when they're going home. When kids go home, they can get on their device, they can be connected instantly everywhere. They're influenced by YouTubers, they're connected by gaming systems, and the world really is small.
Yeah.
So things like Pokemon Go shrunk the world. It also got us socially engaged. It leveraged the screen of a device to get kids up and active, which was wonderful. Yeah. YouTubers, they're now the new influencers. They're the new silver screen, the actors and actresses that we grew up with. So they're the new celebrities. Yeah. I still have cable. I'm considered old by my kids, because I have cable. A little slightly younger generation streams everything. Yeah. I'm streaming some, and then now kids they stream, but a lot of them just watch YouTube. Yeah. And it's so.
My daughter does.
Yeah, my daughter does too. I have an 11-year-old, so she watches.
13.
Yeah, so I've got a 21, 17, and 11-year-old, and they all consume through different platforms. Yeah. And so the thing is my kids will all jump on like a game called League of Legends, which is an online game.
Okay.
But they'll be on teams with people all over the world.
Yes.
And they're also chatting, they're collaborating, they're working together. And so having an understanding that this is a lifestyle that they choose and that they're living in. Like, I don't go home and play games and get, connected to people all over the world every night or even once or twice a week. But a lot of our students do. Yeah. And the numbers bear out that it's a large number of our students doing this.
So maybe leveraging that.
Yes.
And so how would classroom what? How would you?
Okay, so so the takeaway from that part is like, okay, understanding. We have to understand that when the kids go home, they're doing this. It's happening. Okay, because we need that relationship with our kids. So when we're in the classroom, and if my students all of a sudden know that I know what a YouTuber is, and not only do I know what a YouTuber is, I'm familiar with different types of YouTubers. Okay, just being in the here and now, if you will. Okay. Understanding the power of Pokemon Go. Now, if that's something you want to leverage, you can. There's a lot of stuff out there. And then like something like League of Legends. Okay, the numbers bear out. If you're an educator and you're familiar with Minecraft, Minecraft, about 2% of school-age children are playing Minecraft. 2%.
Wow.
And think about how big that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of people. I mean, everybody watching this is like, wow, I know Minecraft, and we know how big it is in school.
And only 2%.
2%. But this is on online games.
Okay.
Sorry. So the statistic is of all online games, 2% of all online gamers are playing Minecraft. Kids.
Gotcha.
Now, give you comparison, League of Legends. League of Legends is the #1 online game. Now, League of Legends, 22% of kids online are playing League of Legends. So it represents 10 times more kids are playing League of Legends than are playing Minecraft. And we don't even know this. So I always ask people, go back to your school and ask kids, like ask your staff, how many of you know League of Legends? And you'll get 1 or 2. Yeah. You ask your kids and a lot of them know it. You get in the middle school or high school, it's huge. My son, who's a junior in high school, just sent me a text, and his friend just got a scholarship to be on the League of Legends team at a university.
Oh my goodness.
$20,000 a year scholarship
for
esports. It's called esports.
Esports, yes. I know esports.
Yeah, playing League of Legends. Wow. And that's a maximum scholarship. And that's, so esports now becoming like sports, are becoming like, different scholarships for testing and achievement. I'm not promoting like you need to do this. I'm saying it as an awareness that we as educators need to be aware that this is going on. And I share this in a lot of my presentation. I have the screenshot of the text from my son's friend that says, you've just been awarded. And I know the coach at the university who's head of esports. And so it's incredible. $20,000 a year scholarship because they're good at an online game.
I mean, it's important because if I have students in my class, and that you can help nourish that. There you got that student that's going to maybe get a scholarship like that.
Maybe.
And if you discourage them, well, there you go. Then they're not going to get that scholarship.
And
they may not.
Exactly. And I think for me, the biggest thing is just having to understand, like, if you're teaching high school and all of a sudden your kids understand that you're aware of League of Legends, just as one example, all of a sudden they're like, wow, my teacher, they're going to say something like has a clue, if you will. I mean, in very layman terms. But like, so if we can have an understanding of the world they're in, they're going to, you know, feel closer to us and have like more of a relationship.
Relationship.
Which then that's when you can get more out of them.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's how I leverage that specific piece without talking about apps and high right curriculum. The global view is like, okay, understanding the world they're in, because then I have a stronger relationship with my kids, and then I can use that relationship and use that strong relationship to get them to learn in a more efficient manner, to trust me, walk with me, work with me, and just, you know, overall better.
So while you're talking, some came to mind. So and I can't remember the different companies that are doing things like where they're bringing in that aspect of gamification into the classroom. Do you see that as something that's useful in the classroom?
It is powerful. I've seen the badging system and the gamification system come into the classroom. Now, here's the thing: is for those teachers who it makes sense, it's a wonderful tool, and it's extremely powerful. Now, like anything else, it has to. I mean, it's like I knew it, and I was impressed by a lot of people who were doing it, but it was never my thing. So like, it's not something I could do. Now, also, you have to think about it. It will hit a certain percentage of your students, but it's not going to hit them all. So like, we have to have that understanding. So maybe 60-70% of your kids love it, but then what do we do about those other 30%? So like, it's great to have one of those. That is one of your tools in your tool belt. But it's so powerful. I mean, the teachers are doing things with it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
We're gonna take a little water sip here. A little break.
This segment sponsored by Fuse Tea. No,
sorry. So we have to excuse. I've been talking a lot, so I'm like, my voice is like, woo. We're doing a water break in there.
Yes, we just did our official sponsor break.
Sponsor water break here. This is fascinating. I'm learning a whole lot right now.
Well,
just sitting here in the little bit that I chat, I'm like, wow, there's a whole you just, as an educator, if you're in education, you have to go out and just get as much as you can. I mean,
that's right.
The little bit that I'm hearing from you is like about the AR, VR, and I mean, I'm playing with a lot of this stuff,
right?
And it's like fascinating. And if you're out there, you're teaching the classroom, pull that stuff, use different things, bring them into your classroom, like you said, your tool belt, because and almost with the previous session we talked about personalized learning,
right?
I mean, this is one aspect of that you can be using in the classroom.
Absolutely. And the thing is there are some really great apps and tools, and there's not one that is going to that I say, well, this is the one, because the thing is everybody has a few that they really like. And so don't be discouraged about, well, I don't know which one works for me. You can email me, hear that? Like, I'm old enough. You can reach out to me on social media. You can email me. Like, you can
use the rotary dial for me.
I'm two shorts and a long. No. So yeah. So the thing is like, just try one. Reach out to your network on social media. There's so many great tools that you can use. That you guys have a lot of people in your network and your resources that can share a lot of amazing things, and we just need to do it.
Yeah, we just need to do it. Well, I mean, this has been amazing. This has been awesome. Is there anything else that maybe I've not brought up that you want to share?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, maybe get in touch with you.
Sure. You can look me up online on social media. I'm Brad Wade, WAID. You can just do a search on Brad Wade, or you can do Tech Brad Wade, because a lot of my handles are Tech Brad Wade.
Tech Brad Wade.
Google me, you'll find me. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I'm working with schools. I speak at conferences.
Right.
I do, if it's for the good of education, has anything to do with emerging tech, AR, VR, anything, I'm in.
You're in. Awesome.
I'm in. I mean, that's where I live. That's where my heart is, and that's where my passion lies.
That's great. Well, thank you for the time. Thank you for being here. And it was such a pleasure
Claudio.
to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I saw it walking around. I got some.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you for having me. Thank you to Hoonuit.
Yes, thank you for having us here. So we're going to take a break here, and we'll be back with another guest. Hang on. We'll see you in a bit.
All right, we'll see you.
This who am I
We're looking there. We're looking there.
Okay.
So let's go on over a little bit more. Hey everybody, we are back in the Hoonuit booth here at TCEA 2018. Joining me is Bradford.
You can call me whatever name you want to. It could be Brad or Bradford. It could be
Bradford is with me here. So
this is not Brad Wade.
He's
a little wider, a little darker.
We're twins. We're twins.
Hi. Oh my God, this is so, I'm having so much fun doing this here. We are here. We're talking about personalized learning. Back to the basics.
Yes.
Personalized learning. So earlier today, just to let you know, we were talking personalized learning for students, and then we just talked about emerging technology. So now we're going to be talking about educators and what back to basics with personalized learning. So first of all, what when we say back to basics, what do you mean about back to basics?
So this has kind of been like my platform, my mantra or whatever for this past year. We are at a technology conference. There's no doubt about that. There's a lot of stuff going on. We're hearing about Google. We're hearing about all of these tools. The problem is that when we all go home, reality sets in, and we have testing. We have all of these things that are going on, and we want to show all these tools, but time is a huge issue. And in our department, we're showing them all these great things, but then there's other departments that are showing them things that they must do too. So there's one teacher, and then there's 4 or so departments saying you must do all of these things. And so teachers are confused. It's too much going on. And so I had to take a step back, and I was doing things with the kids, and I love my kids. I love my kids to death, and they're so open and they're so eager to do whatever you want them to do. My initiative in the beginning was, hey, let's learn. Hey kids, come on, let's do Google Drive. Let's collaborate. Let's do Nearby. Let's collaborate. Let's build some. Let's collaborate. Now, I want you to go back and show the teachers this stuff. Some did, some didn't. And it was very powerful, but it just stopped. And somewhere along the line, I lost my focus with my teachers. And I said, okay, you've forgotten how to even share Google Doc. You have forgotten you have forgotten how to just learn how to even use a Google Doc and just share. You can do hyperlinks, you can do all of these things on just a Google Doc. They have forgotten. So I said, okay, we need to go back to square one. I've been in this game for 5 years, and I've shown them so much stuff, but they somehow have forgotten what they can do with the stuff that they already have. Okay. And so I've given up my little club that I did with the kids because of that. And it was eye-opening because, and I said this in a panel discussion, I said, has an adult, anybody in our profession, have we ever told another adult in the profession that you're behind? Have you ever said, Miss So-and-so, you're behind? We say it to the kids. We say it all day long. We need to get you here. We need to get you there. But when I told a teacher why I don't have a club anymore, I said, because I need to focus on you. Because you're behind. What? Somehow we, not you or me, just somehow within these 5 years, we have forgotten how to do the basic things, to collaborate, to do SAMR, to do the 4 C's. My data shows that adults are not learning. The kids are learning. The kids want it, but the adults aren't getting it quite. So I've gone back to showing basically how do you share in Google Drive? How do you do a blog post in Blogger? How do you collaborate in Google Slides? Yes, that stuff may sound easy and boring to us because we do it on a daily basis, but our teachers don't do that anymore. And when they ask questions about, well, how can you do this? Well, you can do a hyperlink to this, or you can share that, and they just look at you. They just look at you. So I've really gone back and I've done some PD on, well, these are the kind of things that you can do with a Google Doc. And they're amazed because they didn't know that a Google Doc or Brain Pop or whatever it is has done that. And as a district, you know this, Claudio, we pay thousands and thousands and millions even on products that we only use the bare surface of.
Yes.
And that's a problem because I've said this before. Somehow we thought that there's this, if you're purchasing, I'm just gonna throw Brain Pop out there for an example. Brain Pop is probably on some CD somewhere that somebody's just popping into a hard drive somewhere, and now it's magically downloaded for everybody to use. No, Brain Pop does a lot of stuff, and it costs a lot of money, and we need to use it. I've been in situations, Claudia, I will not say the company's name, where a lot of people in the district loved it. It reached everybody without any of us training on this is how you use it. It's reached the teachers, it's reached the kids, they love it. But guess what happened? They got rid of it. No rhyme or reason. So they're coming to run to me. What happened? What happened? I don't know. I said, but as teachers, if you are betting for a product that you know that has worked, you need to fight for it. You need to fight for it. So know that when stuff comes down on the chopping block, you need to be an advocate for your product. That's another thing about going back to basics too. Keep using it. Share what you're learning so that districts can see that this is important.
Valuable.
It's valuable, yes.
So the with going back to the basics, and there in my district as well, there's some occasions where it's like, yeah, we probably need to hit back the basics. Now, for those teachers who we're talking personalized learning, for those that are ready for, okay, they're ready for not the basics. What do you do for those folks for that?
Are you talking about ones that are kind of reluctant, or ones that are trying to,
or those who are already kind of like, oh, I already do, I'm fluent in Google Docs, or I'm fluent in this. What do you do for those?
So now what I'm talking about. So yes, you are fluent, but now what are you doing for the kids now to show that you are fluent?
Gotcha.
Okay, so now we got you've mastered Google Docs till you can't master it no more for yourself. So now that you've mastered Google Docs, the next level is, what does Google Docs look like for the kids in your classroom? So that's still going back to me. So now it's not like, okay, well now I'm ready to do spreadsheets. No, you've learned one tool. Now, how are you pushing that to the students? How are you applying it to the classrooms so the students can learn it? There's nothing wrong with using a product like Google Docs or something that you are mastering. It takes you like 6 months to learn. But now you're transferring it to the students so they're mastering and learning. So now you've learned that step. So now the students are doing that. Now let's take it to the next one. What else can you do with the Google Doc? I can put a hyperlink in there. I can make hyperdocs. I can do all of these things. Keep sharing that with the kids. So you can't share it no more. Now you're ready to go on to the next level. Okay, now I'm ready to try a Google slide with the kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Even I've had conversations with some of my friends here at the conference. This conference is great. I love the conference, but now I need to get my teachers and my admin and my skills to come, because we know this stuff.
Yes.
And it's great to come. It's great to come hang out with you, Claudia. Yeah. We can converse. We can talk on Twitter. We can talk on Voxer. We can have sessions together. And we're spitting out in this new information, and you can give me information that I didn't know about, and vice versa. But it stops with us. It stops with us. My next plan, and I hope people that I know are listening and watching, but my next plan is, I want my leaders and more of my teachers to come out. And then I want you to give me the feedback on what you have learned and what you want to bring to the issue, because there's stuff that, both of you and I already know. But okay, so now you've seen it. How do you want to apply it into your classroom, or how do you want to apply it to the campus, or how do you want to use this as a resource? I know about it, and I know the power of what these products can do, but I don't know what your vision is, and I don't know where you want to start from square one.
So when earlier you were saying, when we tell our students, you're behind, and you were telling your teacher, what do you use to like for them to know that assessing that they're behind? Do you do anything to like I'm fluent in it, I'm doing it in my classroom? So do you have a way of for them or assessing like, okay, they've mastered it, they're doing it in their classroom, they're ready to do something else with it? Is it kind of self-learning that they do, or what?
I make it self-learning. Like all of my teachers and all of my administrators, whether they know it or not, they're on their own individualized learning plan from me.
Okay.
Is it in black and white? Some yes. Is it in my head? Some yes. So when I come to, let's say, yes, I'll put them out there. Let's say I go to a principal. I kind of already know how I need to work with you, because I know the things that you need. Prime example, I will talk about my principal. He's great. He's fabulous. He was looking for to do something at home with Microsoft Office, or he was looking for a laptop. And I said, well, why are you looking for a laptop? We've already gone through the process of getting Chromebooks. Mm-hmm. So now you have a Chromebook because you've done our Level Up program. Because but I need to do some stuff at home with a laptop. I said, okay, but you have Google Drive. He said, yeah, I have Google Drive. I said, but I need to be able to do Word stuff. I said, okay, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to send you an email. He goes, what is this? That's Office 365 for the cloud. You still have a Chromebook. You can still do this. Why? Because the reality is when you go home, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock. Just like me. And what are you doing between 6 and 10 o'clock? You're talking to your wife, you're talking to your kids, you're getting ready. And so now you only have time to maybe hit a couple of things. Here's another tool that you can use in between going to bed, talking to your family, and coming back to work the next day. Office 365. You can still do that on the Chromebook. It's still cloud-based. He goes, that's perfect. He goes, well, how am I able to transfer the Word document to my computer? It's cloud-based. So when you come to your office, you can download it. It's in Word. You're still good to go. Perfect. So now I'm assessing already what he needs. He needed something to do for after work so he can keep his plans going. Other teachers, I have a couple of strong teachers on my campus that implement in ELA, math, and science, and so I have to set the bar really high for them because they do Google, they do the 4 C's, they do all of these things. So now that challenges me because they're like my GT students. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So they want more stuff. So they're asking me, well, what more can I do? What more can I do? Literally, I don't know. I have to stop and research to see what I can give you, or I need to come into the classroom and co-teach with you to see where you're at. Claudia, before I left, I don't know what it's like in your school, but most teachers have a section of the board where it has their objective, their materials, and this is how we're going to learn. I looked at her materials. Her materials are to get the kids ready: Schoology, Brain Pop, Google Drive, EduSmart, Prodigy, da 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 da. I just looked at her. I said, "You do all of this in the room?" She doesn't do it all at once, but these are her resources. This is what she used to engage her children. And she has a workflow. I said, this is awesome. I have never seen any teacher that says, these are my materials that I work with. This is what I do to reach all of my kids. I'm not on it 24/7 with the kids, but this is what I use to engage my children. So for her, I got to step my game up because she's ready to move on to the next level. Okay. So each one of my teachers, each one of my staff members I have a little plan for them. So, but it's all about, that individualized learning and what they need. And I have to listen because sometimes even one of my higher teachers, I will say, oh man, we need to do clickers, we need to do this, we need to do Hoonuit, we need to do da. Bradford, slow down. You're doing a lot. Teachers will tell me that. Let's take baby steps. Let's do this part first. I learned that from a teacher, and I'm a district leader, and I want to implement so many things, but you have to listen to the teachers too. Bradford, slow down. This is too much. Let's take this one component, and that's from Miss Karen Lofton too. I'm gonna give her a shout out. She's taught me that about okay, we as teachers are doing a lot of stuff. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with this one thing. Then we can keep growing. We can keep growing. Keep growing.
So when at the beginning you talked about, you have the teacher he or she has got being pulled from all different places. So with do you coordinate with any of the other, the others that are pulling?
Of course. I'm going into the PLCs. I go in and I'm just, they'll ask me, do you have any questions? I said, no, I'm just in here as a fly on the wall. I'm listening to what's going on. I'm trying to figure out, how can I better support you as an instructional technology specialist. So sometimes I will go in and I'll just sit in the PLCs and I'll take notes and get ideas. I'll go and I'll talk to my principal. He has his ideas. I take some notes and I dissect it, and then maybe I'll go back to the PLC again. I said, well, these are some of the things that I have found that may work for you. I have plans where one teacher may have 1-to-1 in her room. One teacher may have 12 devices. One teacher may need to go to the computer lab, because yes, we still go to the computer lab. So I give different options, and I help them out, and I try to coach it as much as I can. So that's kind of how I do it. Yeah.
So if the other instructional coaches that are out there that are listening to this, what would be advice that you would give to them in regards to personalized PD, like a tip for them?
First, you need to listen. You go and just listen and be a listening ear, and see where their greatest need is, because they do have a need. They want to do this. They really, really do, but they are nervous. They don't know how it's going to run. So just hear them out and then digest it. Then maybe come back the next day or a few days and say, you know what, let's talk about how we can make this math lesson engaging. What do you think about this? Don't do a team takeover with them, because at the end of the day, that's their classroom. That's not yours. Share some ideas, collaborate with them. Go in if you can and co-teach with them, because instructional technology makes them nervous.
Yes.
It's scary. It may be easy for us, but it's something totally different for them. Even for the teacher that's advanced, trying something new is a risk, especially when the teacher has deadlines. Teachers have deadlines that they have to meet. They have certain standards that they have to meet. They have a scope and sequence that is already laid out, ready to go from the summer. And we're coming in saying, why don't you try this? And they just look at you like, what are you talking about? So the main thing I would tell instructional coaches is listen first. Listen to what their need is. Don't change everything that they're doing. Give some advice, give some input, go into the classroom, see how they're doing. Go into the classroom and just be a fly on the wall first. Don't do team takeover with them, because then they feel like they can't do anything. See how they're doing things, give them some feedback, give them some tips, and then, hey, do you want to debrief later? Do you want to add this maybe next week? Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. And with our situation, hey, we don't have to be face to face. We can do a Google Hangout. We can do a phone call. We can do a text message. The way we coach as instructional technology specialists is different from any other skill specialist, because now we have hey, do you want to chat on Facebook? Let's chat on Facebook. It's totally different. We don't have to be one-on-one. Can I provide some? Do you want me to provide some Chromebooks for you? Let's do it. And I will be there with you. I've made a lot of teachers really comfortable by me just being in there, and I help model with them, and it's really helped how they drive their instruction.
Right. So, Bradford, we're about to wrap up our time.
Okay.
And
did I talk too much?
No, Bradford, it was great. It was great. And so, for those of you who are listening after, so really going back to the basics, be a good listener. You know, just as you would with your students. I think we should treat our teachers how we want to treat our students. You know, we want to listen to, we want to personalize it. We want to meet their needs, and it's the same case when we work with educators. Is we really want to meet their needs where they're at.
Right.
And you know, we always heard of the phrase the shotgun effect, where you just spray everything out, hopefully something sticks. But if you really have that focused telescopic point on what it is, I think you can really get more, even though it's one. You're going slowly but surely.
Right. And don't feel like you have to reach. If you have a campus that has 80 teachers, don't feel like you have to reach all of them at one time. If you reach one, or if you reach 5, that's okay. And the biggest thing that I love is that I'm no longer the voice anymore. Claudia, if I'm training you as a teacher and you say, hey, I love brain pop, I love clickers, I love all these things, and I show you this is how you do it, you now as Claudia, the teacher, can go talk to Miss So-and-so, and maybe that's me saying, giving you a script, but they hear Claudia and they're willing to use it more than me, because when they see me, they see everything. Yeah. But when they see you, I'm willing to do it because Claudia is doing it. It makes a huge difference.
Great. Bradford, thank you so much for being here and sharing your insight.
Yes.
For those of you who are watching us, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen. And as we talked about personalized learning and going back to the basics. Thanks so much for hanging with me.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you. Thanks so much.
And you will be back at my conference, right?
Yeah. Well, if you invite me back, I will.
You are invited. You are invited. You must come.
This is a great conference that he put on. Yeah. And also congrats for being, I believe you were the 3 finalists?
Yes.
Awesome.
Finalists for Instructional Technology Specialist of the Year.
Awesome. Great job. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you back in a little bit here. 2, 1. Hey, everybody, welcome to Who Knew It Live. We're back for our last session of the day. Woo! We're live. We're live. We are going to be talking about district-wide personalized PD. And with me, I'll let them introduce themselves. I'm start here.
Zenaida Elizondo, Integration Specialist for PSJA, Barcelona 1 Alamaya State.
So we may have to talk.
Louder?
So look, see that little microphone right there? We have to talk enough so we can see that little green bar go up.
Okay.
So try it one more time.
My name is Zenaida Elizondo from PSJA.
We'll just go. We're gonna go with it. We'll just. What's your name?
I'm Amparo Garza,
Amparo
Kelly
Garza.
Farr Elementary, PSJ.
PSJ.
And I'm Debbie Pingle. I'm an integration specialist with PSJA. I work with Zenaida.
Okay, so for the folks that may not know, when we met yesterday, so tell us where PSJ is at.
PSJA is in the Rio Grande Valley.
Rio Grande Valley.
It's on the Mexican border. So we're kind of real close to the beach, about an hour and a half in far San Juan, Alabama area.
Awesome.
It's close to McAllen.
McAllen. Awesome. So we've been talking different topics today. We started off with talking about personalized learning for students, and then we talked about emerging technologies, and then with Bradford was just here talking about back to basics about personalized learning. I'm just having a hard time now talking here. So district-wide personalized PD. So what are you all doing for district-wide for PD? So tell us what are you all doing? Can y'all still hear me here? I'm turning my back over here. This is very impromptu for those of you who are watching. This is all unscripted. I'm gonna take a little water right here. So see, so we're just having fun. So go ahead, and just so they can make sure. See that little microphone right there? We want to make sure that everybody can hear. So you may have to make sure you can see that little microphone going up and down.
Okay. Well, first of all, we did have a district-wide initiative contest with the Hoonuit PD to encourage people to use the Hoonuit modules, the learn it, do it, share it, prove it. Well, that's the wrong order.
Yes.
But we had a contest, and we're encouraging teachers to use more of the Hoonuit PD. And our winner is here.
Awesome. So you got.
She did the modules. She also had to attend. We have some district CITs. We're in the technology people,
Awesome.
So we're talking about technology.
Great.
PD.
Okay.
And we have some CITs at each campus. They're full-time teachers, but they're also paid a stipend to deliver technology lessons at their campus.
Right.
So each month we meet with them and we give them topics that we want them to share out. And so part of the PD contest that we had was getting people to attend those sessions at their campus level. So that was part of it as well. So that's part of our PD that we have. For technology, we also have some technology power sessions that we started this year. It's kind of a round table. Mm-hmm. We have 8 to 10 presenters on different technology topics. We're trying to tie it more into curriculum this year. Okay. Because we don't want to just teach the tool, but we want to show the teachers how to use those technology tools. Correct.
Yes,
correct.
Excellent.
So we're getting some, we had 6 of those this year. We've had 4, we have 2 more coming up.
Okay.
So, of course, the whole district-wide, there is a lot of PD sessions for, as you know, the curriculum topics as well.
So is this your first time? Have you been to TCEA before?
I have been, yes.
Have you been to TCEA before?
Yeah.
And
this is my second year.
Second year, awesome. Did you win last year too?
I did.
Wow. So she's got 2 for 2.
Yes.
Yes.
She's a hard worker. She works
great.
and does a lot
of
PD for that.
Yeah, you did the work, you earn it, you know. If they snooze, they lose.
That's right.
So how do teachers access the PD, or is it like, do they request a certain PD? But I think I heard you say that you meet with them and there's like, we want you to focus on this. What is something that you've asked them to kind of focus on with their schools?
Well, every month we have a focus. So Debbie and I select, we kind of make a decision for elementary based on the trends that are going on at the campus. So before the writing, we pick ELA, and we want the teachers, if you're a 4th grade teacher and you're a CIT, you're going to do a professional development based on your usage of that program or that topic in your classroom. But we usually veer them towards, if it's ELA, we're going to tell them, well, they can use Flipgrid, or they can use something, and this is the way you're going to use it, and this is the way I used in my classroom directly to affect instruction. And then as a resource, they can also assign maybe some Hoonuit modules that go alongside that.
Right.
Maybe if they need a little bit more of a background, because we want them to show them what they're doing. We don't actually want them to show them how to use the product. We actually want them to show them, this is what my students are doing, this is how it's affecting my students using it. So more of an integration piece instead of the traditional, this is how it is.
So in Hoonuit, because I've gone in and I've done some modules. So did the teachers do the modules and students also do the modules?
We have teachers using the modules right
Okay.
now. Students do not use the modules.
Okay.
Secondary students are able to use the modules. So if it's a K class or something, the teacher can use,
Okay.
Hoonuit. But primarily right now in elementary, it's the teacher that's using the module. Also, any district, any person that works in our district, whether you're a bus driver or you're the principal of a school, has access to Hoonuit, and so
Great.
they can look up any module at any time.
Do you have like one module that's like the hot module?
At the beginning, it was the bullying.
Bullying, okay.
We focused on bullying because of David's Law, and the counselors kind of pushed that and have their students. We had one campus that had the highest usage. Their highest usage was based on bullying at the beginning of the school year.
So a little bit of digital citizenship at the beginning of the year. So have you seen? Does it seem to have made a difference?
I think so at that
Okay.
campus. I think there's more of an awareness. And I would say district-wide, our district has kind of pioneered this whole usage of an app. And so alongside that, they have this as, the background. They can also support that by looking at the videos. And but it was a requirement that was
Okay.
made by the
Right.
district at the beginning of the year.
So was it your department that got Hoonuit for the district? Like,
Yes.
Okay, so your department.
Yeah,
And
we've been 6 years
6
or
years.
so.
Wow. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
When it was the previous
Atomic
Wow,
learning.
that's
Atomic
amazing.
learning, yeah. And at that time, I think it was more like how to do this, how to do
Okay.
that. It didn't have as much PD.
The,
Right.
But I
the
think it has
modules were
really
different.
transformed
Yes.
in a good way.
So
to bring this
you mentioned
PD.
the learn it,
See it,
see it,
prove
share
it,
it,
prove it,
prove it,
share it.
share
Yeah. So, something. Yeah, I know. It's
I
been
had
a
it
long.
down earlier.
It's been a long week. It's a
Yeah.
long week.
Uh,
But that's great. That is awesome.
I know it's correlated with the T-test,
Okay.
which we don't use the T-test in our district. We use McCrail.
Okay.
And so we were actually talking to one of the Hoonuit reps yesterday.
Okay.
And she said she would correlate it to the McCrail for us, which I think will be a big plus
Wow.
because then teachers will be able to go in and actually on areas maybe that they're performing weaker in, they'll be able to go in and find some modules in Hoonuit that correlate with the areas they need to
So
study. So I like that idea. We haven't done that yet,
Okay.
but that's coming up
so they're looking at customizing it somewhat.
to the McCrail. Yeah.
But you said they do have a T-test,
Yes, they have a T-test correlation, which is awesome.
which is great. Okay.
There's links. I mean,
Well,
if
and
you're
McCrail and T-test are very
very,
similar.
very
Very similar.
similar. So
Now
it won't
the
take
reason
long.
my eyes lit up on that because we use something else and I think I'm going to share this with because the other tool we have because they got it because of T-test and they're like and hearing from you that the T-test part is great, it works. I'm like I'm like
they
looking at
just
the
click
video.
on the link where they're weak, and then the modules are like there for
Okay.
them to try.
Nice.
So I think it will be, I'm really excited about that
That's great.
for next year.
6 years using it, so they have experience using Hoonuit. So for those of you who are listening out there and like thinking about it, this is proof right here. It's working. It's great. Is there anything that maybe I've not brought up that you want to share? Again, we are all impromptu here. This is
Yeah.
all unscripted.
Yes, it is.
And I
What-
guess the ability,
Go ahead, go ahead.
to create our own modules.
Okay.
So our district has the piece where we can actually assign content that's PSJ created that has our logo on, and we can kind of push that out to our district.
And now that is intriguing me even more. So there is a portal there that you can upload like your own videos,
Yes.
but it's following the module format that's in Hoonuit.
Yes.
Okay. And it's very simple. It's like, I think that those 4 things, and I'm going to try to say them again, and it's going to be wrong. And I know what they are. It's just,
I know.
it's been a long week, folks. But it's very easy. It's like, it's
Yeah.
simple.
Yes,
It's
it
just,
is.
it's like, and I think less is more.
Yes.
So when you can get something like that as easy as those steps and to learn something and to prove that you know it, but not make it so complex.
Learn it, do it, share it,
Prove it.
prove it.
There she goes. She
There
got it
it
right
is.
there.
I think I
Yeah.
got it.
You got
Finally.
it. It's been a long day.
That was great.
Awesome job.
That, you know, so for those of you who are out there thinking about looking for something for your district, if they're thinking about something, what would you say to them?
I think Hoonuit's an excellent product. It has come a long way, especially with the PD.
Okay.
It's just teachers have access to it any time of day, night, whenever they want to, so they don't have to go to a room and sit for 6 hours and do professional development.
Nice.
It's at their fingertips.
It's very
And-
user friendly.
Like Amparo, I know when she did her modules, she liked them so much she went to her principal and
I
said,
did. I
like,
turned it
every
around.
teacher should do.
And she sent the email and said, you know, everybody should try this one.
And her CIT is assigning them to the staff.
Right.
She assigns them to the teachers to do alongside her training.
And the content is good.
So
Yes, I love it.
As you were talking, a question that did come to mind. So district-wide, so the curriculum department they're using this as well.
It's available.
It's available.
To the whole
So
district.
is there? So are they creating content to put up as well, like CNI?
That's our next step.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Great.
That's our next step.
Right.
Well,
Working
we've actually captured certain departments through the needs of our district,
Great.
but they're next.
Ah,
That's our
see.
huge focus here at TCEA. Debbie and I, our whole focus, meeting with librarians, talking, seeing it's curriculum and instruction combined with technology, which it's always been
Yes.
integration, but it's just going to be together. No more two parts. It's
A nice marriage of the
Yes.
two.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think I see a lot of districts doing that.
yes.
And because a lot of times it's like us against them, and it shouldn't be. It's
No, yeah.
ultimately all this we're doing is for the
The
students.
kids.
To make sure that we, as empower educators, to help make a difference in the lives of students. And the whole time we've been sitting here, and everything that we've been talking about has been ultimately for students. Personalized learning for
success.
students' achievement, emerging technologies in the classroom for student achievement, PD for teachers. Right now, what we've been talking about is just that ultimately we want to make a difference in the lives of students and help engage them. And really, the way, you know, I'm gonna say it for myself. I didn't learn like this in school. You know, for me, it wasn't like this. But I wish I would have. It's just like I can learn in my pajamas easily. I can do that.
That's what I loved about it, that I was in the comfort of my own
Yeah.
home and I could pause, go feed my children, come back to it,
Yeah.
take notes, because I took so many notes that I turned around and I shared with my grade level and said, look guys, look, what the principal has been saying to us is so true.
Yeah.
We need to change. If we want these kids to change, we need to be the change first.
Right.
We can't remain stagnant. They talked about the module I saw, water that's stagnant goes bad.
Yes.
We need to be the ones to move that,
Move it.
move it
Need
and
to flow.
motivate through engaging activities for the kids. And that empowered me. I loved it
Awesome. See, that's proof right here.
because it's hard as professionals to change your ways.
Yes.
But then you see these videos and it's like, whoa, yes, it's true. We can do it.
Awesome.
And it gives you some inspiration.
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
let me move. I'm gonna move this mic. For those of you who are watching over here. Well, this has been great. And I've been talking with different educators here. Here, let's make sure we can see all of us here. And I've really been inspired by listening to everyone that's been sharing here. Everyone has something great to share, and you guys have shared so much that's been like inspirational and really like intriguing. There's a lot of stuff you're saying, it's got me thinking. I'm thinking of stuff to do now.
That's good.
So
That's good.
thank you. And so for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for joining us and for these last 2 hours. And it's gone by fairly quick. I've been doing this in every session. I've been drinking water during because I'm like mouth is drying up. I've been having a great time this week, but my voice is just about gone. But it doesn't sound gone.
Yes.
But thank you so much for hanging on, and thank you to Hoonuit for allowing me to sit here and talk with these awesome educators and the great great things that they're doing and inspirational things. So for those of you out there, keep doing what you're doing. You are making a difference in the lives of educators, which ultimately are making a difference in the lives of students. So from all of us here, thank you so much for being here. And we're going to sign, thank you. And we're going to sign out from TCEA HoonuitLIVE 2018. Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye.